Okay, this is a quick example of how to override a pattern contextually. So the situation right now is that this font family needs to change to, well, I think it does, to font family secondary something, or the style for this specific timestamp needs to change. This is bold, and I don't think it should be bold. It's kind of hard to read. I'm just moving to my other monitor to make sure. Maybe it is okay, actually. Let's see. So I was thinking this should not be bold. Well, that's pretty thin then. So many fonts. Do I do this? I guess it's fine. Well, let's play around. So this is probably the best typeface here, but we can also say, let's see what secondary looks like. That's better. So I think this should be, yeah, that's better. So let's do this. Let's make this font family secondary. Let's just make sure secondary is what I think it is. So this is how our web font loading is working. So font family secondary equals font family secondary fancy. And that is, we can see down here. So yes, Warnock Pro, which is the secondary fancy for this art news configuration, or art media. So we want this to be secondary. So we need to update the utility configuration for this pattern C timestamp. Okay, let's see what that looks like. So this is story arc. So let's start up Larva. And oops, I need to make like, someday we'll make like a local, maybe a cleaner URL for this. How does this go over here? Okay. So there's Larva. What am I working on? Story arc. Story arc stories. Okay, so here they are. This is the story arc thing. It does this like overflow. And so if we want to create, there is no AiA configuration for this right now. I don't think. Yeah, so we need to make a configuration. So everything's pulling from here, and these are, these colors are updated with custom property, which works fine. This overflow is looking a little weird because it has a min height. No more heights. Let's see. This is bad. So see how this is. I think this does have a height. Maybe not. I don't want this this shadows being like cut off here, which I'm not happy about. This overflow hidden. So we don't really want overflow hidden here. I think the solution is to add some padding to the bottom. And I'm also going to try to update that because there was something before where this was having like causing an X or a Y overflow without that, which is only happening on the actual site for whatever reason. I'm gonna not do this right now because this is not what my task is. I'm getting very distracted. Okay. We need to make an AiA configuration to change that font family. So not in objects, we're gonna do this at the module level. Since this is like a context sort of thing. So modules, and then into story arc stories. So as a prototype, and I'm gonna make a new, I'm gonna just save as, so I have a little boilerplate here. It's gonna be story arc stories AiA JS. And then instead of cloning all of these things, I'm going to clone story arc stories prototype, and I'm going to pull in prototype here. Yes. And then I'll clone this. So, oops. Story arc stories, clone deep, story arc stories prototype. And then I'll export that. Whoops. Typing. Or we don't need brackets here. Let's call this AiA though. That's been the like that. And I need to overwrite the font families for that timestamp. Well, first let's confirm that this is working. So now AiA, we should be able to load this with the AiA extension. Yay! Okay, so a couple problems. Oh, this is okay because see how this background color is weird, but that's fine because that's coming from a token, so we want that. But this is bad. So story arc stories, C timestamp. We need to go into. Oh, this might be difficult actually. Crap. This should be a module, I think. Because this is kind of nested in here. But it's fine. I'm not going to be too worried about that. So what's going on? Story arc stories. So this is in. So we'll have to overwrite this story arc item element. I don't want to have configurations like that in here really. Though, so I wonder if we can do, or we could write a little bit more JavaScript. I think that might be the best way to do it. Instead of story arc stories. Let's do this. These are all OTs. We'll do a map, I think. I always forget how to do these things. So these are all teases. And yeah, so we're going to overwrite each of these. So each of these is a tease. Not a huge, each of these is a wrapper around a tease. And a time. Okay, it's timestamped right in there. So we don't need to go into OTs. Seems like this should be part of OTs, but that's fine. But we have all this like presentational markup because of the massive amounts of fancy borders in this design. Okay. So C timestamp. So inside each story arc item here, we'll say how does map work? We could probably do let's do this. Story. This should autocomplete, maybe. Yeah, so this is where this node stuff and these objects become real nice. So this is how you know you're doing it right, is if you're getting these predictions in the object. Okay, now let's overwrite the classes with, and so this is, so we could also change this to be, I'm just going to overwrite all of them because this is fine. they're all the same classes and it's not that much to maintain. We just don't want to, what you do not want to do is like go and manipulate this string and try to pop out, try to turn it into an array and then pop off bold. That's not, or you wouldn't want to like search this string and find primary and replace that with secondary. That's not a good idea. Just overwrite the whole thing because that'll get, just the programming will get too complicated and hard to read. So just overwrite the whole thing here. This will be secondary now. We'll save this and hope this works. Amazing, cool. This is all really just my mission to write more JavaScript. So yeah, okay, so this should be good. This also looks kind of weird and bold. That's fine. Okay, so great. So now we made that change and we need to write this JSON file. So we'll say npm run write JSON project modules. And we might have written, did we make any changes here? First, let's commit these changes. So this was, I'm not even going to commit this because it's like, we're not linting all of these files right now, and it's not worth having a diff for it. So, so we'll say feat add AiA config for story arc stories. Great. And now story arc stories. Go away. So this write JSON command. We can write all JSONs. There is a script to do that, but I haven't released that into the wild yet. So for right now, it's write JSON project is project versus larva. So what patterns you're targeting, the type of pattern, the name of the module. Even though this is always modules, I think that I'm going to remove the ability to write JSON for anything besides a module, but we do need it for one-offs. But you should not write JSON for an object or a component. Those should be kind of like obscured beneath the module guys. So write JSON project module story arc stories AiA is the variant. So if you don't specify this, then it looks for the prototype. Amazing. Here we go. Cool. Okay, and now I have to make sure this probably will not, there's an array somewhere, which I believe is in assets. Under a function called, okay, here we go. No. Here. So these are the modules that'll automatically be replaced with AiA instead of prototype. So this is kind of how the theming is working under the surface. So instead of having this condition everywhere, when we include a JSON pattern, we can do it all in one place. So I'll add this since we created an AiA config for this. We'll call this story. What was this called again? Story arc stories. And whoa, spelling mistake. And I definitely should have done all this on another branch, but whatever. Let's make this PR a little bit bigger. So let's see. Oh, you know what we should also do? Let's run our test. Let's make a test for this because I don't think there's a test. I don't think we tested story arc stories yet. The tests do not work. Whoa, this is the wrong Larva config. The tests do not work for AiA prototypes at the moment. Probably would do that like here somewhere. Test base URL, like test, I don't know, tail URL or something, or test variant. And then it would test all AiA patterns, but right now it's just only doing let's erase these so it goes faster. And this is probably just going to generate the test. I don't think we've saved screenshots for story arc stories yet. Oh, wow, it happened. Oh yeah, it's because we don't have it. Wait a second, why isn't this? We do have stories. Connection failed. Did tests catch a problem? Oh, well, the server's not started. That is something we could have a test for, to make sure you have started the server. So we do, this is good, we do have a test saved for a story arc story, so we'll make sure the test passes. Make sure the test passes, which it looks like it doesn't. Whoa. What's the difference? Oh, I did remove this. That's true. In a different pull request, so this is my bad. And I added, so this is an outdated test. But because we're running our test, this is a nice way to update it. So we'll approve this. But I'm also going to add this padding to the bottom because I don't like that. So let's find story arc stories. I think that was in overflow hidden. I'm gonna just leave this here because while I don't like this, I think this might not be necessary. I'm not gonna risk causing more bugs by removing it. I'm just gonna solve the problem of cutting off the border or cutting off the box shadow. Let's run a test again, and then we'll approve it if it looks good. And that way this story arc stories test will be up to date for the next time we make changes to this module. What's happening here? Let's sort of solve things, but maybe we should do a smaller shadow on this. It's kind of aggressive. That might be more than the design is. What shadow are we using? And then I really need to work on something else because this is getting to be too long. What am I working on? Story arc. Item. Shadow medium. Box shadows are not part of tokens yet, which is a major problem. So we're trying to see what. Gross. Why does this even exist? Ugh. Okay. Box shadow medium, box shadow dark. Yeah, so these are not part of tokens, and it's just terrible. It seems like these are all, well, here's a nice note. That's what's happening right now. Not doing this. Well, let's see what, I think there are shadow tokens that might be here. Shadows. Shadow light. This is what we want. So let's create this, and there will be box shadows forever and forever, just like the comment says, but that's fine for now. We'll do it later. Box shadow medium. Save. Watch this lightning fast CSS build. Whoa, it doesn't seem very lightning fast. Why is this hanging? Project's getting big. Things are going wrong. Okay. Okay. In here. Save that, and we'll check. And I'll just run the test again because we're working from the test now instead of the browser, which is good. And that looks better for sure. Yeah, so see how the borders, the box shadow's not being cut off anymore. Debatable use of time right now, but that's fine. Okay, and then we will backstop approve these tests and commit them. So let's see what we got here. So what do we do? Fix, add padding, and let's see, correct shadow overflow in shadow cutoff. Whoa. And we don't need to commit this. Okay, and let's see what QA looks like. So we should have updated our stuff here. There should be ads here. That's why this is weirdly cut off. And we also might need to try to clear some cache. Yay! This looks good, I think. Sort of. I guess that looks better. This did not update. Oh, because I need, oh, well, maybe, let's check that. I need to check that well, none of this is updated yet. This is still being cut off with a big shadow. There might be something going on with QA. Well, did we change any more JSON? I don't think so, but we'll. Yeah, we did. Duh. Laura. We changed all of them. We need to, so let's just try. We did change JSON. Yeah. Okay, so I wrote JSON for regular story arc stories because that's where the box shadow was, and for AiA stories. So we did have a JSON test. That's going to be crazy. Watch this. This is comparing JSONs with each other, and it's may or may not be useful. Yeah, this is too much. Uh-oh. So there may be actually a lot of stuff that's out of date here. This is on my list of things to do. I think I pushed it down to later, see if npm run test could actually be useful. But I think there's like maybe some actually way out of date things. So I'm going to do that in a different pull request though. Yay, perfect. Oh my God, so beautiful. Now that we have the shadows updated. Did that actually change? Yes. No. No, it did not. Looks better though. Probably didn't deploy yet. This is the real world. Come on, see timestamp, you're killing me. But we also need to check that this is actually, oh, oops. Oh my God. You know what this is? I know exactly what's going on. This is unfortunate. This story arc stories. Ugh, this is bad. This is in a one-off. This is all one-offs. One-offs are the worst. So, God damn it. That's what's happening here. Arc story. Story arc stories. Let's get this. This is nested. No bueno, but whatever. Story arc stories. Okay, now we got it. Story arc stories is not actually used in anything because of this stupid one-off. So let's write this. One-offs, latest stories, news, river. Will not work. I also need to write project. Kind of hard to use right now, huh? But we'll get there. I guess I can test this locally before I try doing it on QA, but I don't have this data. Just frustrating. This is not the new border at all, I guess. So, and possibly all these tests were accurately passing or accurately failing. We'll see. For update story news river. Wrong. So also don't need to actually do this. Yes, this is what needs to be there. Okay, fine. Let's make a comment about this shit right now. Right fucking now. This object is included in how do you that? This is not going to make sense to anybody if I do this. Optional AiA. That's not a thing. Sure. I guess that's more like a fix. Fix rm. Okay. But yeah, the problem, this all could be avoided more. This like identifying this bug, the fact that I needed to do all of this. I feel that this could be avoided by having local data. Because we do not have good data syncing between production and, what am I doing? Option click. Oh, this is pull request, I don't care. Definitely should have opened a new branch for this, god damn it, but whatever. Okay. Yes. I think this actually worked this time. Let's confirm. Confirmed, secondary. Yay! Okay, so let's end a screencast of doing a very small design change that I think makes this look slightly better. And it's a debatable use of time, but okay. But this is a good example of how the system works and how to kind of update, do small updates to patterns without writing CSS. We wrote 0 CSS in this screencast. So, okay, that's all. Goodbye.